Okay, so starting off with Arsenal, we've got Declan Rice here. He played the second most games behind David Raya. He played 35 matches. He had a good average rating, 7.3. Um, there was a certain game against Brighton. I think Arsenal drew 2-2. First game with Brighton of the season for Arsenal. He got sent off for apparently kicking the ball out or something. It was a really weird red card or second yellow that got him sent off. Honestly, one of the biggest disgraces I've ever seen in football. And had he not been sent off, Arsenal probably would have won. This season, you could tell he was playing a more advanced role, wasn't doing as much defensive work as you can see from his FBref over here. His tackles, success rate, his interceptions, blocks. Okay, blocks, not necessarily part of defending if your team isn't having to make lots of blocks, but tackles and interceptions definitely went down. However, if you look at his forward stats, all the stats that have to do with goal contributions, all green, good percentiles. He's not lower than in the 20th top 20% of players for all of these. So I think he also showed a lot of heart on the pitch. Obviously, if we're going to talk about the Premier League, he Arsenal didn't do much there. Finished second 3 years in a row. But in the Champions League, he did score those 2 free kicks against Real Madrid in the same game, which was very impressive. So Declan Rice, I think, was Arsenal's best player last season. So let's move on to the next slide. Aston Villa, Morgan Rogers. It was an interesting season for Aston Villa. You know, they started off a bit slow, and then their January transfer window was elite, bringing in Asensio and Rashford, and you just thought this is what's going to be getting them over the hump into the Champions League, but I guess it didn't work out. But to talk about Morgan Rogers, I mean, even from his first game of the season, he's had pundits waxing lyrical about him. So, and if you watch him, one of the best ball carriers I've ever seen. He looks so strong on the ball, you know, like he's strong on the ball and he takes good care of it, and he can really dribble. I remember watching Aston Villa's first game with Arsenal of the season, and he was incredible. Um, he had 18 goals and assists, which is fair. I think that's pretty good. And he played every single game for Villa except one. But if you want to get technical about it, he doesn't have that many green stats on FBref, which I mean, FBref is not the law. This is an example of the eye test. He looks good and is good. So FBref is obviously not going to be a measure of his play. But look at his successful take-ons. I mean, that's what he excels at the most. You rarely see the guy lose one of those. So Aston Villa has got a real gem here. But they might have to sell him apparently for PSR. I don't know if they've sorted that out. I made this, I think, 2 weeks ago. I made this slideshow. I just haven't been able to record. So maybe they've sorted it out by now. But I think, Morgan Rogers was incredible. What a player. Bournemouth, it was hard because a lot of their forwards were really good. Dean Houston, you could have picked him. He was amazing. But I think Justin Cliver just about wins it because, I mean, he seemed to just be a guy who'd score crucial goals for them or penalties as well. That was kind of his thing. He scored a hat trick of penalties, and it's still a hat trick, but I guess you could say it's not that impressive. He scored also 6 penalties of his 18 GA. I'm not exactly sure how many goals he had, but 6 of them were penalties. So, and it doesn't look like bigger clubs want to buy him, which is weird because he is a pretty good player, and I don't think he's too old. I think he's like 26, 20, 25, 26, something like that. So, I mean, yeah, I thought he was pretty good. You could have picked Semenyo. You could have picked Dean Houston. Could have picked even the striker Dango Utara, the one who plays as the backup striker. He's quite good, a very good backup striker, probably one of the best in the league. You could pick their actual striker, Evan Nilsson. He was not bad. Bournemouth had a good season. They kind of fell off at the end, but good team. And I think next year they should be able to qualify for Europe. Just need to make a few smart signings. Brentford, it's easy. Brian Mbeumo, I talked about him in the last video, I'm pretty sure, responsible for 42% of Brentford's goals. He had 27 goals and assists for a team that is not playing in Europe. He's left-footed, he's right-footed, it doesn't matter, he can play on both sides, he can even play as a striker. And he's about to be sold for like 60 million, so clearly Brian Mbeumo is one of the Brentford GOATs. Greatest of all time Brentford player, one of them at least. Brian is yeah, he's they're gonna miss him. I don't know what's going on at Brentford, honestly. You know, they've just employed their set piece coach as the head coach instead of getting a normal manager, which is weird. Maybe they know what they're doing. They know better than me. I mean, that's why I'm recording videos in my room, and those are the guys making the decisions. But I feel like there's a lot of managers they could have reached out to. So I'm scared for Brentford because they're going to lose Mbeumo, and 42% of the goals is crazy. And I'm sure those goals will be distributed amongst the team, but they've also just lost their manager and they lost their captain, Christian Norgard. He's moved to Arsenal. So honestly, Brentford, hopefully things turn out swell for you guys. I like Brentford. I think they're a very neat little team. So we'll see how it goes. But even they're rumored to lose Johan Wissa. He's only got a year left on his deal, so other teams are looking to just buy him. Hopefully, they're already working on replacements for everything they've already lost. But the signing of Kevin Keller was quite good. Brighton, it's got to be Mitoma. Did you know that this season is Mitoma's best ever season for Brighton? You know, you wouldn't think so because 22-23, you thought for sure, oh my God, this Mitoma guy, he's burst onto the scene. And he was. I mean, if you look at that goal he scored against Liverpool, I remember this. This is kind of what made me start getting into football. What I started watching after the World Cup in 2022. And this goal is just incredible. But yeah, Mitoma, incredible player. He played this. He's tied for most played games in the entire season for them. He scored 11 goals, which is his most ever for Brighton, and he's probably one of the best ball carriers in the entire world. I mean, if you look at his progressive carries and his progressive passes received, his teammates definitely trust him to pick up the ball and take it into the final third. Or if I could include his final third entries, you could look at that on FBref. Let me know if that's something that you want me to be including. It will probably add a lot more depth, but I feel like they're kind of nerdy stats at the end of the day. But yeah, I think Mitoma was definitely their best player this season. There's a few players you could maybe argue were better, like Carlos Baleba, Yankuba Minte. Those are all pretty good players, but I think Mitoma definitely. And remember, they received a bid from Al Nasser for him, and they even turned it down. He's somewhat of a Brighton icon now. I mean, when you think of Brighton, you think Mitoma. So, and look at his defensive work. I mean, for a winger, he's making blocks, tackles, interceptions, aerials. One, he's not even a particularly tall guy, but he's winning aerials too. So, very, very good player. Definitely Brighton's best player last season. Burnley, I don't watch a lot of championship games. I don't watch championship games. We don't get the coverage here, but I would be interested in it, but that's besides the point. Josh Brownhill, I'm pretty sure is out of contract at Burnley now, but he was their top scorer. He played sometimes as a striker, sometimes from midfield. He scored 2 goals from midfield against Sheffield United in a pretty crucial game. I don't think there's much more to say. Josh Brownhill is, yeah, he was their best player last season. I think whoever scores the most goals for one of these teams that are looking to come up is their best player because they need the goals. Championship games always have crazy stat lines like 6 something, or I don't know. There's lots of goals in these games, and these guys are interesting. So Josh Brownhill, and he's been there for a while. And even when they were in the Prem, the season before this one, where they got relegated, he was one of the only players who maintained a positive rating. So Josh Brownhill, Burnley's best player last season. Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez. There were a lot of players to pick for Chelsea. You could pick Cole Palmer, but that drought he had, where he went like 6-7 weeks without a goal or an assist, was a bit brutal. I think that kind of damaged his stocks. Otherwise, I would take Cole Palmer. And after winning the Club World Cup, you could say it is Cole Palmer. But I made the script before they won the Club World Cup, and Enzo Fernandez was also pretty key in winning the Club World Cup. If you look at his goal contributions, got 9 goals and 17 assists in all competitions, including the Club World Cup, which he was very good in. I think he only didn't play that well in the final, otherwise a very good player. He's also looking more and more like what they ended up paying for him. Like every single, I mean, he's being linked to the Real Madrid constantly. So obviously there's a player here. So Enzo Fernandez, for me, was Chelsea's best player. Scored a free kick. I'm pretty sure, maybe more than one, but I'm sure he scored 1 free kick. And he's been captain at some points. He's helped being the captain when Reece James was out, and they won the Conference League. They've just won the Club World Cup. He's, yeah, I would say one of the pillars of the dressing rooms. And compared to what the team looked like when he joined and how it's progressed alongside with him, I think Enzo Fernandez has been nothing but good for Chelsea, and especially last season. If you take a look at his successful take-ons, almost 70%, so almost in the top 30% for successful take-ons, progressive passes, progressive carries, very good number 8, or kind of like a number 10 he can play as. Defensively, not as solid as you'd think, right? You'd think Enzo Fernandez, I'm always being told, is going to do defensive work, but he's not. I mean, he's not particularly good at it. He's just okay. But yeah, I think all the goals and assists definitely make up for it. If he's playing a more advanced role and you've got a beast in midfield like Moises Caicedo, then Enzo Fernandez is the perfect player to pair with him. So Enzo Fernandez for me was Chelsea's best player of last season. Maybe you could argue it's Cole Palmer after winning the Club World Cup, but still. Crystal Palace, we've got Eberechi Eze and Dean Henderson. It was actually really hard to pick between the two because in the Premier League, it's their highest points finish ever, I'm pretty sure. They've had only totals within the 40s, and this is their first total within the 50s. And these were two very key players, especially Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson was one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League last season, had an above-average save percentage. And obviously, if we're going to talk about the FA Cup final, Eberechi Eze scored the goal that won Palace one of their first major trophies in I don't know how many years, cementing himself as a legend forever, probably. Even Dean Henderson, probably a Crystal Palace legend too. I mean, there's not a lot you can say when both players were extremely key to them winning a trophy. I think it just makes a lot of sense that either of these guys can be considered the best player of last season. So Eberechi Eze is now linked to the move to Arsenal. Dean Henderson, I'm not sure has any transfer rumors around him, but still a serious player. And I like when he mugged Pep off at the end of the game. You know, I love when players do that. Last video I talked about Jean-Paul Van Hecke doing it, and it was hilarious. So Dino and Eze are, I think, Crystal Palace's best players last season. Everton, not much happened outside of the Premier League. They didn't really have a deep run in any of the other cup competitions, but Jordan Picky Pickford had yet another incredible season for Everton. I mean, every season for him at Everton has been incredible to keep the team up. So yeah, just another really good season. And he also saved all the penalties he faced this season. I mean, I'm pretty sure he faced 2, and he saved both. So yeah, and look at his save percentage. He's better than 67% of goalkeepers at save with his save percentage there. Good at launching the ball. He's good at playing out from the back. Got a few clean sheets as well. Good. He takes lots of touches. You can trust him with the ball. Just reliable. I mean, if Manchester United are looking for a keeper, I think Jordan Pickford, you've got to try and get him. But I don't know, maybe you wouldn't want to leave Everton. But I think Everton are stabilizing now. I think he can go. Fulham, easily Anthony Robinson. This guy is incredible. The fact that he's not been linked with a move to a bigger club than Fulham is incredible. I don't know how they're keeping hold of him, because if you compare him to almost any left backs in the world, there are not that many elite left backs in football. I mean, the best one is probably Nuno Mendes, and then you'd say maybe the second best one is Theo Hernandez, and he's just gone to Al Hilal or something like that. So the football world is chapped for left backs, and this guy is the real deal. 10 assists entirely from left back. That is already crazy. That alone already puts him ahead of most Premier League left backs. But even his carrying game is incredible. He's one of the best progressive carriers in the entire world. He's in the top 9% of them. Look at his take-ons, his progressive passes received. He can take passes and progress the ball. And then look at his defensive stats. He's 88% tackle. He's in the top 22% of tackle success rate. Interceptions, he's in the top 3%. Clearances, it depends on how many times you're going to have to make any clearances, but still very good at it. And even his aerials, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not that tall. I think he's like 6 foot flat, and he's winning 1.42 aerials per 90, which against other fullbacks makes him better than 85% of them. So I think Anthony Robinson is one of the best left backs in the entire world, and yet no transfer rumors. Really, I mean, there were a few. There were a few at the start of the season, but I think he just had knee surgery. But even then, may I try and buy him even if he had knee surgery. This is an incredible player, and Fulham are very lucky to have him. Leeds United. Leeds have just come up, and their best player has left. This guy, Junior Firpo, 4 goals and 10 assists from left back. Pretty sure he served as their captain at certain points of the season. Look at how green his FB ref is. I mean, for the teams that have just been promoted, it's hard for me to wax lyrical about their players because I don't get to watch the games. But he's been at Leeds for pretty hard times, and I mean, he wasn't a success from the jump, but look at him now. I mean, he was one of their best players last season. Pretty good defender. He's an okay defender. I mean, he's not got too much green in his defending stats, but they're good enough. And if you look at his attacking stats here, this is incredible production, incredible output. Look at this. He's in the top 1% for non-penalty XG and expected assisted goals. Look at his assists. He's in the top 1%. Shots total, non-penalty XG. Seriously good player who Leeds have just lost. I'm pretty sure he left on a free. He's going to Real Betis. About Junior Firpo, good player. Manchester City, it's easy to say they had a horrible season, but even in such a bad season, the guy, the GOAT, Erling Haaland, 34 goals, 5 assists in all comps, 39 goal involvements, and 34 of them are goals. One of the best City players ever. One of the only City players this season you could say had a purely good season. There were no times where he wasn't good. There's not a lot to say for a Manchester City player. It was a very disappointing season from them. And Stay Humble ruined their entire season. So I guess maybe that's one thing you could say. I mean, their team was literally never the same since he said that. And I'm sure he's learned a lot about what he said and why he shouldn't have done it. Because his team lost 4-1 to Sporting. They lost 4-1 to Spurs. They lost to Spurs twice. They lost 5-something to Arsenal. I mean, the whole team, I mean, Kyle Walker is gone. The team is in like tatters. But I mean, that's less to do with Haaland and more to do with just poor moves all around Manchester City. And Haaland, I mean, he's got to be the best player last season. The guy seems to score and assist in basically every game that they play that has a goal in it from them. He's related in some way. He scored free kicks. They've got 2 midfielders and then 2 behind the striker or whatever. And he'll play sometimes as an attacking midfielder, or sometimes he'll play a deeper role and he'll do all the connecting, the passes and the running. And he's only 10 appearances off 300 appearances for Manchester. Yeah, since Fergie left. Probably the best in my opinion. Newcastle United, it's got to be Isaac. I mean, you could have said Jacob Murphy, but you've got to give it to Isaac. 33 GA in all comps. They were not playing in Europe. And he's the most demanded striker in the entire world. I mean, if any team, like the teams who need strikers now, Arsenal and Liverpool, want a striker, this is the guy they're going to be trying to get. 23 Premier League goals. And he's not just goals. He's everything and goals. He can play probably with, I mean, if you look at his stats compared to other forwards, look at how much green there is in the attacking stats and then the ball carrying and passing stats. He can connect play. He can run with the ball if he needs to. Some of his goals is just him taking on other players and scoring goals. And those are stats I can include. If you guys are interested, I can show you goals that are directly as a result of his dribbling work and him ball carrying and all that. He has the skill to take on players and score. I'm pretty sure he did it against Liverpool at St. James's Park, scored the top corner goal against Van Dijk. And it's not even the first time he's done it against Van Dijk. And he's rumored to be moving to Liverpool for 120 million. Newcastle aren't interested in selling. And honestly, I don't think they should sell this year. I think they should sell him next year and try replace him. Like I see they've tabled a bid of 70 million for Ugo Ekiteke. And so Isaac, incredible player. You could have said Jacob Murphy. I wouldn't have been upset with that. That's not a bad shout because he was way better than I think anyone would have expected this season. If you have to pick any wingers that play for Newcastle, I'm sure you're not picking Jacob Murphy to have been the best one last season. Anthony Gordon had kind of a down year. I think he was kind of injured in and out of the team. I don't know. It's a bit weird with Anthony Gordon. I feel like I want to do a video kind of explaining something to do with players that are not had a bad season. Obviously, you don't focus on negative things, but I'm interested in doing something like that because there were a few players last season that were very disappointing. So maybe that'll be my next video. Nottingham Forest, it's gonna be Nikola Milenkovic. This guy came from Fiorentina. He's already looking like the symbol of this new Nottingham Forest. I mean, he came in, he's got 5 goals, 2 assists. He felt like just already felt like he had been at Forest forever because of how passionate he is for the team. Obviously, I didn't include his FBref stats here, but he's a no-nonsense centre-back. I mean, he does a bit of pulling the ball up a bit the pitch, but really, that's not how Nottingham Forest play anyways. And I just think it's more about not even him individually, but what he means for this team, because now they're in Europe. And I think at the start of the season, no one would have pinned Nottingham Forest to qualify for any European competition. Maybe at best you are saying like they'd finish like 13th or something like that. And this guy has definitely been a symbol of their success. He's definitely one of the Nottingham Forest players I think about the most when you talk about last season's success. Sunderland, I don't know. I mean, this is a team I don't want. I couldn't tell you. Like Leeds and Burnley, I kind of follow because I remember when they were in the Prem when I first started watching football. But Sunderland, I've never seen them in the Premier League. I'm not that interested in the team. I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Eliezer Mayenda, something like that. This guy seems pretty good. If you look at his progressive carries, that is like insanity. He's in the top 1% of forwards for progressive carries and for take-ons. Got a lot of assists too. I'm pretty sure they used him as a winger and a striker. 8 goals, 5 assists. Pretty good player. I guess you could say Job Bellingham, Chris Rigg. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with Sunderland, so we'll see how that pans out for them when they get promoted. I'm more interested about talking about Sunderland as a team when you look at their transfer window. Maybe I'll do a video recapping all the transfer windows so far, but those are really time sensitive and I don't know how many videos I can make. Tottenham, we've got Brennan Johnson. This is a pretty controversial pick because he actually wasn't even really that good. It's just I didn't feel right picking Kulusevski because Brennan Johnson scored in the final to win Tottenham their first trophy in 17 years. Otherwise, it is Kulusevski. I mean, Kulusevski could play for any team in the entire world, so it should be Kulu, but I'm going to pick Brennan Johnson just off vibes. And I mean, he had a pretty good season. I think the problem with Brennan Johnson is he blows hot and cold. There was a run where Brennan Johnson was incredible at kind of like 2 months into the season or a month into the season, then he went cold, then he came back towards the end. I mean, he's a good player. I think just because he scored that goal in the final, I put him here. I made this script a bit ago, and he played the second most games behind Pape Batasar for Spurs, who endured one of the most injury-ridden seasons I've ever seen. But yeah, the trophy makes me think Brennan Johnson is the best player last season just because he scored a goal in the final. West Ham have gone with Jared Bowen, and this is because of how versatile Jared Bowen is for West Ham. I've seen him play at striker. I've seen him play as a winger. I've seen him play as a midfielder. Maybe not last season, but he can do it. And he's just become somewhat of like the most reliable player in the team. I mean, Muhammad Kudus had a pretty off season and now he's gone to Spurs. You worry for West Ham. They had a pretty boring season that no one cares about because they didn't make any deep runs in any competitions. And they've had a pretty poor league finish when this is a team with players that should be competing in Europe. You had Jean-Claire Todibo, you had Max Kilman, you had Jared Bowen, you had Nicholas Fulkrug, you have Guido Rodriguez, you have Edson Alvarez. I mean, these are all like pretty good players. So I don't know. I'm not thrilled about West Ham. I think they should be doing a lot better than they are. But yeah, I think Jared Bowen is definitely the best player. 21 goals and assists. He's got a really cool like bicycle kick that wasn't even nominated for goal of the season, or it was like a volley or something. It was amazing and it was really cool. But I mean, that's really it. Wolves, Mateus Cunha. This one is easy. I mean, he's already moved to Manchester United for 55 million. So clearly, I'm not the only one who thinks he's their best player. He played as a striker and as an attacking midfielder. If you look at the similar players, and I know this is a cop out, but look at the kind of company he has on his similar players. This can only mean he's going to be successful. Omar Marmoush, Alvarez, Griezmann, Leandro Trossard, Ayotse Perez had a good season. Vinicius Jr., Lautaro Martinez. I mean, even Laborde is not a bad. These are good players. So Matias Cunha, he's one of the best Wolves players probably within the last 5 years, and very, very convinced he will be a roaring success at Manchester United. He's going to be like what João Pedro has been for Chelsea so far. João Pedro has been really good for Chelsea so far. I think he's going to be one of their best strikers since Diego Costa. So I'm very impressed with Mateus Cunha moving to Manchester United. He had a good season. His goals and assists definitely helped Wolves when they were struggling for points. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with my selection for Mateus Cunha. You'll notice I didn't mention Liverpool in this video, and it just felt like with there's obviously a reason. The reason is I just want to pay my respects to Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva, all his family, friends, and people associated with the club Liverpool, their fans. It didn't feel right talking about Liverpool's best player last season or even mentioning them. I didn't want it to come off and like I didn't want to make people think I was skipping over it. I obviously respect the situation. Diogo Jota is one of the most interesting players I've ever watched as a football player. He wears my favorite number 20. And even outside of football, seemed like a very good guy, beautiful family, 3 lovely kids and his wife, and his obviously his lovely brother. And yeah, I just want to pay my respects to a beautiful human being. I'll talk about Liverpool starting from the next video, but I couldn't skip over the fact that they are missing someone that they can never get back, an incredible player, Diogo Jota. So that should be everything from today's video. Thank you guys for watching the first video. It got up to, while I'm recording, 120 views. I'm going to be making a lot more shorts out of this video. I'll be using more sound effects and stuff if that's going to help people watch through the whole video. I imagine my videos are for people who want to be doing some sort of unfocused work and just want to listen to something, because that's what I use lots of long form content for. And yeah, if you like football, recommend my videos to your friends. Like the video if you liked it. Comment who you thought was your team's best player last season. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, if you disagree. Leave that in the comments. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Leave recommendations for a video idea you want to see, and that'll be everything. Lots of love, guys, and I will see you later. It'll be everything. Lots of love, guys, and I will see you later.